question. Can you guys see this main slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think you. Last time we started with this, that we have to study the general strategy for material balance, and there are somehow 10 steps. So I have told you that it's good to follow these steps. Otherwise, you can also solve the problem, but maybe if you follow these steps, it will be easy for you to reach to the solution. So we discussed, I think, 6 of these in detail, and now we have to proceed forward. So if I just quickly, yes, I mean, recall them, that what were those steps. So they involve, first of all, we have to read the statement carefully. Maybe sometimes statement has more than one meaning. We discussed with a few example last time that sometimes you read statement first time and you think, okay, this can be the answer, but at second time you read it again and you think, no, the answer can be also another option. So due to this, it's been very important to read these statements carefully, and what thing is given, what is asked, you have to figure out. Then you have to draw a sketch of process and specify the system boundary, why it is needed, because when we are solving material balance, before this in last lectures you have studied that it involves something inlet to the system, outlet to the system, something which is generated during reaction inside system, or something which is consumed during reaction. So we have to look at those things. Due to this, it is necessary to put some system boundary. And then you have to place the labels of unknown variable and values of known variable. You have to put on that sketch, I mean, what is given, what is asked. So we have I explained it last time somehow with some example. Then you have to look for some missing data. For example, I told you that maybe sometime you are not given the density and you need it. So density can be found from the literature, from the book, from some other source as well. You guys can look for example, molecular weight from atomic weight table, from that stuff as well. Something, for example, there are two component in any feed, and percentage, mass percentage or mole percentage of one component is given and other is not known. So you can also justify that, or you can write that based on your knowledge, sum of fraction of mass and mole is equal to 1. So then you have to choose the bases, as we discussed that already you studied somehow. Bases you have to choose carefully. Sometimes bases help you to quickly solve the problem, but more or less there can be many ways to select. You have to be careful. For example, if there are the liquid system, then your bases should be in mass or moles.
Mass.
Mass.
Yes, mass. But if there are gases, you
Mass.
guys can go with the mole
Then
percentage. Yes,
mole.
good. Yes,
Moles.
yes, mole. And so on. Sometime, for example, some question is about flow rate, and you take the basis of, for example, 1 hour, and then solve the problem. And I think in last week we discussed one problem in which I told you that you can take different bases of time and you reach to the same solution. So this is the one thing. Then there was determine the number of unknown. We discussed this last time up to here. I think we have discussed that how to find the number of unknown. Unknown are those things which you have to find, you are looking for, whose values are not known. And after careful going through some system, you guys can see that what things are known, what are unknown. And I explained here with some example that, for example, there was some system in which you guys can find the number of unknown, and those unknown cannot be one number. As we discussed that there can be more than one mean answer at the same time. If you remember, we were at this point that no unique number exists. Sometimes people define something unknown and other student has already calculated that stuff in the mind, so he or she can think, okay, I already know this, so this is not unknown number. In after that, but there are something which cannot be calculated through mental calculation, through quickly looking at the data or through literature. Those things need to be found. You have to calculate those, which we call that exactly number of unknown. Excuse me, 84. Just mute your mic, please. You are creating trouble. 84. Okay. Kindly you guys look at your mics when you are in class 24. For example, you are here. You are also not muted. 25. So kindly keep your mics muted until unless you are asking or answering any question, and just when you have answered, please mute it. So next step, seventh step, is about number of equation. Up to here we have discussed. So if you guys have any question, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm starting with the next step. Right, we have to determine then number of independent equation. This is the next step, seventh step, and I think 7 and 8 are somehow same things. Actually, in seventh step you have to determine number of equation, and in eighth step he asked to write the equation. So maybe you can consider them as a one common step. Due to this reason, in the start I told you that sometimes you can consolidate the steps. You can make 2-3 steps. You can take it as a one, or you can combine them. So this is here you have to determine the number of independent equations. So how you will determine the number of independent equation, or what are independent equations? So and we have to do then this degree of freedom analysis. So what is that? So anywhere you are looking at any solution, up to here you know that what are my variables which I need to know, which I need to solve. In the step 6 we have discussed that you have to determine, or you have to look at the number of variable which are unknown, which you don't know, which you need to calculate after carefully looking at the data, given data and asked data. So when you know that those number of variable, now in order to solve, in order to get the answer of those variable, you need some equation, and we will need here equal independent equation. For example, if your number of unknown variable are 4, we will be looking for 4 independent equations, and when they are equal, mean 4 unknown and there are 4 equations, then you can get the solution. I will talk about this in detail, that what is this degree of freedom analysis, but here what we need to do, or what we do degree of freedom analysis by looking at the number of unknown and number of independent equation. Maybe some of you will be thinking what are independent equation. I will explain it. I think in next lecture or at the end of this lecture, that what does this mean, independent equation and degree of freedom analysis. So just to summarize here, what you need is you have to figure out what are your equations. We will look at that because here we are studying the steps. So this is one step, but in its detail I will explain it, that how you can get those equations, from where those equations come, and what equations can be considered as independent equation, what are dependent equation, what does this exactly mean, degree of freedom analysis. So we will look at this. Write down the equation which you have to solve for finding the known and unknown. As I told you that the last step, it is 7th step, and this 8th step, they usually proceed together. In 7th step, you guys look at this, that what are my equation. Maybe in your mind you just think that this equation is possible or this equation is possible, but in 8th step it is necessary to write those equations. So you guys usually write those equations. So for example, if you have not written in the 7th step, definitely you need to write here, because you have to get the clear idea that what are my equation which I have to solve. So here one thing to keep in mind while you guys are writing the equation, it's better to write the linear equation instead of non-linear one, until unless some equation are non-linear and you can't get rid of those, that's fine. But if you have the option, then it's better to write linear equations. So for example, can you tell me or can you give me the general equation of linear equation? Any linear equation you guys know?
Y is equal to ax plus
X plus 1
ax is equal to
Yes, y is equal to mx plus c. This is the linear equation, general linear equation, in which you can see that m is called slope of the line and c is some intercept, y-intercept of the line, and this is value of y-axis and value of x-axis. For example, if I have this data and I plot this between x and y, I will get some linear equation with any slope. That can be like this, it can be like this, or this can be like this. So that's the linear equation in which y and x linearly vary with each other. But sometimes you guys will have here the some non-linear equation. For example, when you guys take, for example, x square. So when there is a square, it becomes one equation which is non-linear. For example, if I write y is equal to mx square, so then it is no more linear, ये non-linear equation हो जाएगी. So here you will have like non-linear equation in the form of product of variable. For example, there are two concentration which are being multiplied to any two variable, they are multiplied. So when power is more than one, definitely it becomes non-linear. Then maybe sometime the ratio of variable. For example, there was one example, I think in last lecture, he said there is a ratio between two components was given as 0.9 or something. So that's when there is a ratio of some variable, that is non-linear equation. You guys know that if something is in the form of logarithm or exponent, that's also considered as non-linear equation. So when we are solving the problem, it is actually easy to solve the linear equation as compared to non-linear equation. So while you write the equation, it's better to convert them to some linear form. Otherwise, maybe you can also proceed still with the non-linear form. But when you will look at that, if it is converted to some linear form, it's easy to solve when you are solving the problem. For example, anything is in the form of log, so we try to solve it, or we apply the properties of log and try to make equation simplified. Or something is in the form of exponent, so we will try to solve that in such a way that it becomes somehow linear. So when you will be solving the problem, definitely you will come across such specific example and you can think over it at that time, that how can I make it simple. Right. The next step is now you have to up to here you guys know what I have to find. For example, I have to find the amount of benzene, toluene, maybe their composition, anything. I have to find any flow rate. So in mass balance, as I already explained, that most of the time you guys have to calculate either flow rate or the composition. These are two main things which you will be calculating throughout. So up to here, you know that what are my unknown as well as what are the equation involved. So when you know the equation up to 8 step, you can now solve them. So you have to solve equation actually simultaneously. So here if you look at some industrial scale problem, there will be number of equation, and as he mentioned, there can be thousands of equation to solve. So definitely it is not easy to solve them manually, so you look for some software. But here in these textbook problem, most of the time you will have small set of equation. For example, there can be 5, 6 or maximum 7, 8 like that equation, so which you usually simultaneously solve. You find some unknown, put in any other equation, and you guys try to get rid of those values. Its example is, for example, you guys solve algebra in, I think, metric as well as in FSC classes. So in algebra, you have two equations, for example, in the form of x and y, you are looking for their values. So you solve them simultaneously. Either you add them, subtract them, and finally you reach to some conclusion. You get the value of x and y. That's the simultaneous solution. He also mentioned that you can also solve these 2-3 equations by successive elimination. Elimination means, for example, you just find the value of one variable in the form of other variable and put in another equation which becomes, or which is converted to only one variable. So that's also one way, either to simultaneously solve them or to successfully successive elimination of unknown. And with this, we reach to the last step. When we have solved the equation, definitely you guys have already find the answers or the variables which you were looking for. So you have to check either your answer are correct or not. So in order to check the answers, as mentioned here, everyone makes some mistakes. There are always some mistakes. So how you can find either I have done it correctly or it is like not correct. So in chapter 2, I think you remember there was one topic related to validation of result. Do you guys remember something from that?
Validation of results.
Yes.
Sir, dimensionally correct होनी चाहिए दोनों side in left right.
Okay, anything else? Anyone remember?
The answer को sense होनी answer makes sense.
Dimensional
Good.
consistency.
Yeah, dimensional consistency wants something for equation, but actually we are looking here at the results, not dimensional. Yes, you guys are right. Dimensional consistency was related to equation, that somewhere you get the equation, try to find that it is dimensionally consistent. That's one thing, but here we are talking about the results. As one student mentioned that these answers should make some sense. For example, at that time I told you that you calculated the diameter of reactor and it is 1 kilometer. So there, that's wrong. Something is wrong there, or maybe you are doing something wrong, or maybe the data which you took is wrong. So that's not possible actually. So here, the most of the thing which you will be doing in material balance, because we analyze the result and we are concerned about most of the time. For example, we are finding the mass fraction or mole fraction. So you guys know that, for example, sum of mass fraction is equal to how much?
1.
Yes, 1. Mass fraction or mole fraction, their sum is 1. So for example, there were 3 components and you found the mass fraction of any of those components. There were 3 components and you find the mass fraction of one component, that should be between 0 and 1. That should stay between 0 and 1. It should not be higher than like 1. If it is higher than 1, that's mean wrong. And if it is totally 1, it's mean other component are 0. So you have to look at those things that will make sense here to you. Another thing here, because you will be dealing with the flow rates in material balance, so your flow rate should not be non-negative. It should be like non-negative. They should be positive number, because the flow rate cannot be negative. That's one thing you have to take care of. इसके अलावा you guys can keep in mind, for example, I told you at that time that there can be various things. For example, you calculate the temperature, later on you will switch to the energy balance, so more or less these steps will be followed there. So in energy balance, for example, you calculated some temperature of some system and that's very high value. For example, that's something 5000 degrees Celsius, and you are talking about some reactor on the earth, so that's not possible. That's too much, too high. That will be something will be wrong. Or sometime maybe you can make mistake. For example, I told you that mass remains conserved. Just nuclear system are the one exemption. Just leave them, and all other system mass remains conserved. For example, 1000 kg enter to the system, and if including accumulation and outlet, we look at that, it should be 1000. But for example, if there is no accumulation, then mass in will be equal to, at the end of the day, mass out. So if your question are not satisfying these things, so it's mean you are making some error somewhere, so you have to look at those things. Up to here, any question? If anyone has any confusion here. All right, no question. Okay, good. Let's move forward. Here is just a quick comparison between problem solving habits of novice and expert. So if you are this new one, you are solving the problem. So maybe this comparison, I will tell you a few points quickly, and later on you can emphasize or you can read them properly. So someone who is new, he will start solving the problem before fully understanding. And are you following the instruction? If you are doing this, will you be following the instruction which he mentioned to us, 10 steps? No, because while you are not fully understanding, the first point was up to here, we have discussed 10 steps, and out of those, first step was to fully or carefully read the problem and try to understand what is given and what is asked. So if you are not doing that, you are just you won. But if you are an expert, later on you solve again and again many problems. So you review the plan, you read the statement carefully, then you mentally calculate or do some calculation, mental calculation, and then you after fully understanding, try to solve the problem. So most of the time here, while someone is new, so that will focus only on the known problem set. what does this mean? For example, someone solved only 5 problems related to material balance, and now when he or she gets any problem, he or she will start comparing this unknown problem with those problems which he or she already knew. So if they found some match, they will start solving. Maybe that's wrong or right, they don't take care. But on the other hand, when you know you are expert, you have solved a lot of problems, so you will look at what are similarities and differences between these and how I can apply some general concepts from those problems, but not whole problem. I will not just copy paste all the stuff which I already know, and so on. Just you have to be aware about these things. So up to here we have discussed these steps of material balance, and if I summarize it, I will tell you one thing that as at the start of this we discussed in one slide that these are guidelines, these are general strategies based on the experience that if you follow, you will not make much mistakes and you will lead to some accurate conclusion or accurate calculation. But if you don't follow them, you can also go ahead with the problem, but at the end of the day, what you will be doing, you will be mixing. And there is one statement here that when you are new, you usually don't follow the steps and you do some random calculation and you make mistake. But when you follow these, definitely it will be good. And sometime, as I mentioned at that time, that it is not necessary that all of these 10 steps will involve. Sometime in some question, some of that will be skipped, or some can be combined with each other. So that's just depends on this. So later on, definitely by next class, I think we have to solve the problem. So you will be applying these. No need to like just remember them one by one, but if you keep them some sketch in mind that what is this, first I have to read, then I have to sketch, then I have to mention things which are known and unknown, then I have to look for something which can be easily solved or I can find from the given statement or from the data, then you choose a base and then look for the number of unknown which are still you have to calculate. You have to then decide the equation, and that's it. You have to solve it and quickly check the answer either they are right or wrong. So this is just summary. There was 7 point which was related to something called degree of freedom analysis and number of independent equations. So we have separate lecture for that. I will just move to that slide. So if you have any question here, let me know. By the way, if any of you cannot see the slide here or has some net problem, I have already uploaded this lecture just few minutes back before starting the lecture. I think at 10:40 I uploaded. So this is available there in the lecture slide, degree of freedom analysis. So you guys can download if someone can't see here or has some internet issues. So you can quickly download it, and then I'm starting with this lecture. Can you see this degree of freedom analysis lecture?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. Actually, here are 1-2 students who have internet issues at home, and usually they can't see the slide. So quickly download this lecture if you are here. I don't remember your roll number, so otherwise, okay, I'm starting with this slide here. Do we have 59 here? 59. Okay. I'm thinking to call attendance today, like one by one. Right, okay, degree of freedom analysis. What does this mean? So here we will be looking at what is degree of freedom, what is degree of freedom analysis, what are actually independent equation, which we studied was the 7th step that in the strategy. 7th step was to look for the number of independent equation and perform degree of freedom analysis. So what is that degree of freedom? First of all, when you define the degree of freedom, actually up to here, if I just quickly go back to the last lecture, in that we have seen that there was 6 steps in which you define number of unknown. Number of unknown are all those parameters which you need to calculate, and then there was 7 step which involve the number of independent equation. So if we just take the difference, that is called degree of freedom. So degree of freedom is just defined as the number of unknown minus the number of independent equations. Number of unknown minus number of independent equation. This is called degree of freedom. So how you write it? Like you write ND, number of a degree of freedom, number of degree of freedom, that is equal to number of unknown minus number of equation. So ND stands for number of degree of freedom, and U number of unknown, n for number always and U for unknown. Equation जहाँ आपके पास है, that is for equation, E for equation. So that's the difference between unknown and equation is called degree of freedom.
जी सर 59।
सर आप क्लास लें प्लीज, आप पिछले 3-4 मिनट से गायब थे और आप जो एक्टिविटीज में अभी शुरू की हुई हैं, मैं क्योंकि मोबाइल तो सर क्लास का टाइम है, काइंडली मैंने सबको ये कहा हुआ है, प्लीज जस्ट कंसीडर इट एज लाइक यू गाइस आर इन द क्लास. So if you will all will attend it like class, so definitely there will be no problem. Otherwise, because I also used to read the everywhere student are saying online classes are just something, I mean you can say कि कोई फायदा नहीं ये वो. तो जब आप प्रॉपरली खुद क्लास का माहौल नहीं बनाते तो डेफिनेटली वो फिर नहीं है. तो काइंडली बी अटेंटिव हियर व्हाइल you are in my classes at least, please. Okay, all sir. Of you, for all of you, this is my message kindly, because I can recall anyone's name and any time. So then if I find someone is always missing, that's mean because sometimes students just switch on the class and they leave somewhere, बस मोबाइल रख के छोड़ जाते हैं, कहीं चले जाते हैं, सो जाते हैं. So please be attentive in the classes. Already told you guys. Okay, thank you. So number of degree of freedom is equal to number of unknown minus number of equation. And what does that degree of freedom analysis mean? So degree of the calculation of number of degree of freedom or determination of number of degree of freedom in some problem is called degree of freedom analysis. So anywhere now anyone asks you that what is degree of freedom, so it's mean anywhere for any problem, either it is material energy balance or anything else, where you are looking for number of unknown and number of equation. If you just take their difference, that is called degree of freedom of any problem. And what is degree of freedom analysis? Just to determine number of unknown as well as the equation, and then to take the difference and to calculate number of degree of freedom, that is called degree of freedom analysis. So when we perform the degree of freedom analysis, usually you guys draw and completely label some chart. This is from the step 3, that you draw some boundary, you write the number of variable which are known, which are unknown, you try to eliminate few of those, and then at the end of the day, like in 6 steps, you look at those variable which are like unknown, which you have to calculate. And secondly, someone is asking something, otherwise please mute your mic. So second, count the independent equation related to those variable, and then subtract second from the first. Second mean number of equation you have to subtract from the number of unknown. So at the end of the day, when you will calculate degree of freedom, so there are 3 possible ways, or 3 possible cases, conditions. For example, in first case, please don't start just reading these. I will explain it one by one. So just in first case, for example, if I write the equation and that was degree of freedom, number of degree of freedom is equal to number of unknown minus number of equation. And if number of unknown and number of equation are same, for example, if number of equation and number of unknown are same, so in that case, your degree of freedom is 0. In that case, degree of freedom will be 0, and we call it specified system. Specified, exactly specified system, as I explained in last step somewhere, that if for example there are 4 unknown and 4 independent equation. So for example, it is like I am looking for degree of freedom and the number of degree of freedom, and that is equal to number of number of unknown. If they are 4 and number of equation they are same, then this degree of freedom is equal to 0. And whenever it is 0, we call it like system is exactly specified. And this will give you a unique solution. I mean, a solution of those unknown exists in this system, and you can find it. I can give you the example of this. For example, you guys have to solve two equations. For example, one was x plus y is equal to 2, and I mean, this is from simple algebra, which you already know. And another equation was 3x minus 2y is equal to 7. Can you guys solve these two equations and can find the answer? I'm just
Yes.
asking, not.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
you will solve it either by the method of elimination or either the method of like subtraction or addition to this equation, and at the end of the day you can find the mean value of x and y. This is simple algebra which you studied. So when I am looking for x and y, x is one variable, y is another variable, and when my variable are unknown or two, as well I have two equations, one equation and second equation. When I have these two equations and two are my unknown, then I can find it, or at this stage my degree of freedom analysis will give me the answer as a 0. And whenever degree of freedom is 0, your problem is called exactly specified. That's mean exactly specified, that means that is number of unknown and number of equation are equal to each other. And in these cases you will have unique solution. Unique solution means you will have one answer for x and one answer for y. Sometimes you will look at some other condition in which more than one answer are possible, and those are not like exactly specified cases. Then we have to get rid of those things, so we'll look at that. The second case is, for example, your number of unknown are greater than the number of equation. So in this case, what do you think? What should be the value of degree of freedom? If you remember, the formula was number of unknown minus number of equation. So इस case में number of, I'm writing here for you, a number of unknown nu minus number of equations. So this is equal to degree of freedom, number of degree of freedom, nd की equal है. So in this case, when this is equal to nd, and now I'm telling you in this case number of unknown is higher or large than the number of equation. So in this case, degree of freedom will be greater than 0. Number of unknown, for example, we have two unknown, x and y. Let's take it this example which I have shown you here, x plus y is equal to 2. In this equation there are two unknown, but my equation is 1, only this equation I have. So in this case it will be 2 minus 1 is equal to 1, and when it is positive number, it is called underspecified system. Underspecified, that means here you need more independent equations to solve this problem. As you already know that when it is only x plus y is equal to 2, can you find the value of x and y?
3 minus 1.
No, guys, I'm asking you that if you have
Yes,
only
sir.
only one equation, that is x plus y
No,
is
sir.
equal to 2, and I
No,
ask
sir.
you to find the value of x and y, you can't find it, because
No, sir.
when there
No,
are
sir.
yes, when there, because here your variable are more than the number of equation. Due to this reason, we need another equation which also involve x and y, so that we can reach to the solution. So such cases will be called as underspecified, and whenever you guys look that your unknown are more than the equation which you wrote, so it means you need another equation. You can balance it by either way. For example, sometime when you are solving the problem, you can reduce your number of unknown by maybe sometime by looking at some data in the literature, or maybe you will need any other equation. You have to look for the equation. They should be balanced to reach some unique solution, otherwise you can't solve that problem. And the third case is when your number of unknown are less than the number of equation. Now, for example, here you have something, while you have more equation but your unknown are less. For example, I say that my unknown is only 1 and my equation are 2. So this is 1 minus 2, and in this case its answer will be like -1. So in this case you are called overspecified. Overspecified means you have more equations but your unknown are less as compared to those. So in such cases, actually there will be most of the time no solution, unless you put some constraints or constraint in such a way that you reduce your equation or you increase your number of unknown. So this second and third case which we are discussing, either it is underspecified or overspecified. In both of these cases, you guys have to look at the question. You have to sort it out. Either I can mean balance my number of unknown and equation by any means. For example, maybe by just looking at the number of reducing number of unknown, or maybe increasing number of unknown, or maybe just changing the equations for this. Equation which you have to use for calculation. So this is called like degree of freedom analysis, and when you guys have to make degree of freedom analysis, so in that case you will you have to reach finally to exactly specified system. Unless it is not exactly specified, it will be difficult for you to solve the problem. So that's something called degree of freedom analysis. Up to here, if you have any question, please let me know.
सर जब हमारे पास ओवर स्पेसिफाइड केस होगा तो फिर हमारा जो काम है वो ज़्यादा आसान नहीं हो जाएगा, क्योंकि हमारे पास
आपके पास बेसिकली एक से ज्यादा नहीं, इशू ये होता है बेसिकली आपके पास एक से ज्यादा सॉल्यूशन तब आने लग पड़ते हैं, एक से ज्यादा सॉल्यूशन. You will have meanwhile you have more options. In that case this is not easy one actually. In that case you can solve some equation and you can get the value of one variable, and at the same time you can solve other equation and can find the value of that variable. उसके example ऐसे है. For example, this above example which I have wrote here on the slide, that is, for example, you have something x is equal to 2 and 3x is equal to 7. So can you tell me by this that what will be the value of x? Can you see this equation which I have wrote here?
Yes sir.
What should be the value of x now? Can you get unique solution?
No sir. Unique
no. What is here?
No, sir.
In this case you guys can see that either x can be equal to 2 or x can be equal to 7 over 3. So both solutions are possible. Now what is the value of x? We don't know, because here now system is over specified, equations are 2 and your variable is only 1. So such case occurs. Okay, 29, got it? Our problem not become simple, it become more complex.
एक मतलब repeat कीजिएगा please.
Yes sir.
सर मैं ये बता रहा हूँ ओवर स्पेसिफाइड सिस्टम की एक एग्जांपल दी है, आपको ये बताया है कि x is equal to 2 और x is equal to 7. These are two equations now given to you. So can you tell me the value of x from this unique value?
No sir.
No sir.
Why?
सर हमारे पास दो वैल्यूज हैं.
Yes, because here we have two values, we don't have unique solution. So such system is called over specified system. So when your system is over specified, in that case you can't find one value, and that's one problem with this system, that your question become more difficult. You can't get one solution, and in order to get one solution, now what we have to do, either we have to reduce the equation or we have to increase number of unknown. For example, if I just modify this equation by any way, just mean, for example, x plus y is equal to 2 and other x is equal to 7. Now is it okay? Is it specified? Is it exactly specified or not?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Yes, simply you guys can see that there are two variables now, x and y, and for solving two variables you will need two equations. So here you have two equations, so you can easily solve this problem. Fine. Any other question?
सर ये डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम एनालिसिस हम सवाल में यूज क्यों करते हैं, इसका मकसद क्या है?
सर इसका मकसद ये है, वी आर यूजिंग इट डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम एनालिसिस. एक्चुअली you have to determine that how many number of variable are there and how many equations are there, and you have to find that number of variable and number of equation should be equal in order to reach to some unique solution and correct solution. Unique mean that answer should be one and that should be correct. इसलिए इसको सॉल्व करना ज़रूरी है। अगर आपका, जैसे अभी मैंने आपको एग्जांपल्स दी हैं, अगर आप ये स्पेसिफाई नहीं करते, डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम एनालिसिस नहीं करते, एंड यू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम, at the end of the day maybe you will meet up with more than one solution, maybe less than, maybe you can't solve it. Due to this, it is necessary that you have to define unknown, you have to define your equations, and you have to perform degree of freedom analysis so that you can get unique solution of that problem, unique and accurate solution of that problem.
ओके सर।
क्योंकि अभी यहाँ पे जो एग्जांपल मैं डिस्कस करूँ, इट्स वेरी सिंपल, बट लेटर ऑन व्हेन यू गाइस आर सॉल्विंग सम मटेरियल बैलेंस प्रॉब्लम, देयर वी विल लुक दैट समटाइम वी हैव मीन मोर देन वन वेरिएबल, फॉर नॉट मोर देन वन, समटाइम देयर आर 5 6 7 8 वेरिएबल फॉर एग्जांपल, and now when I have to look for the answer of 8 variable, it's mean I should have 8 equations. Until unless I write all and I define that my degree of freedom analysis 0, I can't read to those solution. मैं उन 8 को सॉल्व नहीं कर सकूंगा जब तक मेरे पास 8 equations नहीं होंगी. Due to this reason I'm looking for that stuff. Okay, anything else? If someone has any other question, right?
सर
Okay. जी जी
सर थोड़ा सा फिर एक्सप्लेन कर दें इन शॉर्ट की जो डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम एनालिसिस।
हसीब जस्ट होल्ड करो इस क्वेश्चन को। अगर आपको मैं आगे कुछ अभी और फर्दर डिस्कशन कर रहा हूँ, तो स्टिल इफ इट विल बी नॉट क्लियर टू यू, आई विल कम बैक टू दिस एट द एंड ऑफ द लेक्चर। ओके, मैं दोबारा इस पे आ जाऊंगा, मुझे जस्ट आगे क्योंकि इसको फिनिश करना है, फिर लोग तंग आ जाते हैं, किसी ने मैसेज करना होता है तो किसी ने कहीं जाना होता है, तो कुछ अभी भी व्हाट्सएप यूज़ कर रहे हैं, तंग हैं लेक्चर से, तो इसलिए इसको ख़त्म होने दो। So equations are independent if you can't derive one equation, because one thing, okay, let me tell you, here we are talking about again and again with that equation should be independent. Here you can read that independent equation. I told you somewhere in the last lecture when we studied that that should be independent equation. So what does that independent equation mean? Independent equations mean those equations which are not simply by looking at their name you can see that which are not dependent on each other, which don't depend on each other. And how equations depend on each other? Actually, sometimes you can say the equation are independent if we can't derive one equation by adding, subtracting, multiplication or division combination of the others, then equation are called independent. I will give you some example to clarify this point. So for example, you can see here x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 2. Either they are independent equations or not.
Independent है.
Yes, they are just two independent equations. Just they are not dependent on each other, because, for example, I give you another example. Look at this example. Now you have here x is equal to 3, y is equal to 2, and x plus y is equal to 5. Now, when you look at them quickly, you see 3 equations, but they are somehow dependent on each other. So can you tell me how they are dependent on each other?
सर मतलब x को x plus 2 करेंगे तब 5 आता है।
Yes, simply it is first, if one equation is x is equal to 3, my second equation is equal to y is equal to 2. If I just add this x and y, then this left side of the equation as well as right side of the equation, so I will get x plus y is equal to 5. Sorry, 39 was causing trouble. So here x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 2. You can add these left hand side and you can get right hand side. How? X plus y and other side 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. So now can you see that these are dependent equation, because any of these two give the third equation. So overall, when you look at this set, they are overall only 2 independent equations. Although you see here 3 equations, but if you look at only independent equation, they are only 2. Either of these you can select. For example, I select only first 2, or maybe you can select, okay, second and third. Maybe you select first and third. Got the idea that what does that mean, independent equation?
Yes sir.
Yes sir.
Yes. So here only two equations are, although you see three equations, but out of these three, all two give some other equation. For example, if I just select only first equation and the third equation, and first, can I get the second equation? Yes, definitely. When I put this x is equal to 3 in the third equation, it will give me answer y is equal to 2, which is our this equation. So they are not like independent. So overall, out of this set, you have to look at how many equations are independent. Only two are independent. Here is another set of equation, and they are also not independent. How? For example, you look at that x plus y is equal to 2, and other equation is 3x plus 6y is equal to 6. So can you tell me either they are dependent or independent?
Dependent, sir.
How?
सर दोनों इक्वेशंस कंपेयर
सर ये
करें
इंडिपेंडेंट है
बहुत सारे सर
सर वो सेम है.
डिपेंडेंट
सर
है ये.
दोनों एक ही इक्वेशन है
है because
सर ये दोनों
x
एक
is
ही
equal
This
इक्वेशन
is
है
simple one equation. This is simple one equation. The first part is actually multiplied with 3 and you get the
Yes,
second
sir.
equation. So due to this, they are not independent, they are dependent equation. For example, I ask you to find the value of x and y by using these two equations, which you are looking at here, two equations. Can you find the value of x and y? Can you quickly
तो
solve
सेम ही
it in
आएगा
your notebook? Can you solve quickly in your notebooks that can you give me the value of x and y?
यस सर
What is the value of x and what is the value of y? Okay, solve it. Actually, I asked you guys to solve it. So you can't get the answer, I think. So let me know.
दोनों इक्वेशंस कैंसिल हो जाती हैं.
हाँ जी, यही
Both
मसला है.
equations
So
are
here,
same.
yes, they are same. So you can't
सर
get the answer
कैंसिल हो
of
जाएंगे.
yes,
Yes, sir.
exactly.
Same
You
ही है
guys
तो
are right.
cancel हो.
You guys are right.
Cancel
Now
हो
when they get cancelled, so you are looking for two variables, so they are actually dependent. Due to this, they are just cancelling with each other. So you have to look for some other equation. You have to modify maybe one of these equations to get the answer. Got it? So always
Yes, sir.
remember that while you have to solve the problem, you have to identify that equation should be independent. For example, you wrote there that there were two equations and your two unknown, x and y are two unknown here, and you see, okay, I have these two equations and number of degree of freedom is 0, but in this case no. By the way, in this case which we are just discussing, this equation x plus 2y is equal to 2 and 3x plus 6y is equal to 6, can you find degree of freedom of this equation, this system? Can you tell me?
Zero.
less than
No, it is not 0.
1
greater
so 1
less than 0
No, it is 1, not less than 0. Just write the equation. I have written it for you here. Number of unknown minus number of equation. How many number of unknown are here in these systems? Two unknown, and independent
one equation.
equations kitni hai? Independent equation
One.
is only one. Although you see here two, but you guys already have seen that they are dependent on each other. So overall, you will see that my equation is only one independent equation.
One,
and
yes,
in
sir.
this case, this is 1. Number of degree of freedom is 1, and now this is under specified system. If you remember, that under specified system was those in which you need more equation. Due to this, I am telling you that here you have to modify one of these equation to get like second equation. For example, if I just write here 3x plus 6y is equal to 7, then definitely it will become another independent equation. 3x plus 6y is equal to 7, and it will make it like independent equation. So while you are solving the problem, you have to look at that. Okay, look at another example. For example, you guys have already studied this solution of the equation, algebraic equation simply. So while you have these equation, I think you guys studied such stuff. पढ़ा हुआ है या नहीं कि आपके पास दो equation है तो आप उनका solution find करो. What is solution of two equations mean, by the way?
so their intersection point
Yes, sir, their intersection point. When we say the solution of two independent equations, that means their intersection point. So when you have two different equations, you guys can solve these equations and can find their solution or intersection point. This is intersection point where blue and red are just intersecting. So they have only one intersection point. They are actually, one equation will give you independent solution or this intersection point when they are independent. But let's look at this. So what is this? Either here you guys can see that there are again two equations. One is written in red, y is equal to 2x plus 1, and other equation is written in blue, that is minus 4x plus 2y is equal to 2. So either they are independent or independent.
Dependent.
Anyone with independent answer? No, you
No.
guys can definitely see that they are just, he has rearranged the equation and they are just एक ही equation है. Due to this, you guys can see that their graph, one is in the red and one is in the blue. They are just intersecting at each and every point. And the question which you are solving in the last slide, that was also same thing. They have many same points, so you can't get the solution in such cases. So while you have the equation, always look for some independent equation. Now this is the last slide. Here we have to conclude that from where these all up to here, I was giving you some common example of algebraic system. But when you are solving the now material balance, one question can come to your mind: from where I will get the equations? So can you tell me some options from where I can get the equations to solve unknown problems? Hello guys.
No, sir.
You tell me? You can't tell me.
previous knowledge से
हाँ जी, you have some previous knowledge here by the last lecture, last week's lecture.
सर सपोज
Sir,
कर
जैसे-
करके
जैसे हम
equation.
Yes, 59. Can you tell me?
सर जी ये मैं पहले लेक्चर अभी करने हैं दोबारा से.
Okay, anyone else?
सर जैसे हम FSC में वर्ड प्रॉब्लम्स किया करते थे.
Yes, right. So
उसी तरह यहाँ
from here, yes, you can write the equation. Okay, let me tell you here first of all. For example, you guys studied in last week that there was something called like overall material balance. I told you, and there was some more. When there are more than one component, I told you that you have to write the equation for the component balance. So first of all, you guys can write some equations which are material balance, simple equations, which can be the component material balance as well as sometime overall material balance. This is the one way to write the equation. How component equation? If you remember one question that was related to benzene, can you guys recall it? That there was something, benzene and toluene were entering to some system, and then they get separated in this. That was some distillation column in which you get separated them to two streams. One is top stream and other is bottom stream. So you guys solved that problem if you remember.
Yes, sir.
Can't recall those things.
Yes,
so I
sir.
told you at that time that you have to write the one equation for benzene and other equation for toluene. Can you recall that? So that's called component balance. Same time, I told you maybe you can write overall balance equation that this stream inlet is equal to 2 outlets, their flow rate. Or if I'm looking for the component, then benzene at inlet was equal to, agar aapko yaad ho, that was something value of 500, and in outlet one was given and other stream we used to find it, or we were supposed to find the value. So that's called component material balance or overall material balance. The other is, for example, later on when you jump to the energy balance, you can write general energy balance equation. So by the way, from where these come material balance equation, if you recall, we discussed this material balance equation. In the start, I gave you one general equation that something accumulation is equal to input plus generation minus output minus consumption.
Consumption,
So
sir.
yes, so based on that, then I told you that if system is like steady state, you can make it accumulation is equal to 0 if there is no reaction. So generation and consumption become 0 and so on. You can write the equation, you can simplify it. So similarly, when you jump to the later on energy balance, you can find similar equation. Inshallah, we will discuss this at that time. So you can write based on that. Maybe when you are in energy balance, in material balance problem, definitely you will not be writing energy balance equation. And later something which is specified, for example, process specification or explicit relation specified in the question. Process specification or explicit relation. Explicit relation is something which is clearly mentioned in the question. For example, I told you last time that sometime you can give you can be given, like for example, conversion of methane is 74%. So this is one equation now, that conversion is equal to 74, and later on we will define conversion somewhere, that what does that conversion mean. It can become one of the equation. Actually conversion is involved in reaction system, so later on when we study the reaction system, we will define that how conversion equation will help us. but this is one of the information which is sometimes given in the question. Implicit relationship, implicit क्या होता है? Anything which is not clear, छुपा हुआ, yes, which is hidden, which is not clear, but you can figure out this system. For example, implicit relationship or physical constraint derived from the main question, which derive question mean you can grab this concept from the question. For example, there is the mass or sum of the mass, sum of moles fraction, they are equal to 1. So you can write one equation based on this stuff that for example, mass fraction, sum of mass fraction, if that's liquid system, that is equal to 1. If they are gaseous system, sum of mole fraction will be equal to 1. So this can be one of the equation which you can write later on when you write these problems, solve these problems. Other, for example, sometimes you guys can think, I mean, these are just few example. Maybe you will be using not in material balance. Maybe they can come across material balance or energy balance or some other such problem. So, for example, physical properties and laws. Is the example I have given here. For example, you know the Dalton's law that sum of the partial pressure is equal to total pressure. As well, you know one of the other equation or law that's called ideal gas law or ideal gas equation. So these are actually different ways from where you guys can grab the equation, you guys can write the equation. Most of the time here when you will the problem of material balance, simple problem, you guys will involve this. First, you will be writing material balance equation based on either overall or maybe based on components. As well, maybe you will be writing this based on implicit as well as explicit relations. Some information can be given in the question, or sometimes some information is like you can look at that, you can derive that equation while you read the question carefully and you can write some equation. So now when you know the number of unknown, then definitely you have to look for equation. For example, if sometimes you write more than equations are more than the unknown, then it becomes like over specified system. You have to reduce either your equation or you have to increase your unknown. And if it is underspecified means your unknown are more than the number of equations. So in that case, you have to look for some other equation so that you can get unique solution. So up to here, I think we are also done with the degree of freedom analysis, and that was actually linked with the 7th point of our last lecture. So that's it. Thank you. If you have any question, let me know.
सर प्रोसेस स्पेसिफिकेशन दोबारा एक्सप्लेन कर दें.
But the process specification here, I told you that up to here, you guys, the things which you guys here that I mean they are simple problem which we have discussed, but later on, for example, I'm telling you one example I'm giving you here that, for example, in any question he mentioned that methane is entering to the reactor and conversion of methane is 74%. So this helps us actually when we say that conversion of methane is 74%. So this can help us as one equation. How, for example, we know the inlet amount of the methane and we are looking for the outlet amount of the methane. We can use this conversion, that how much it is converted to something and how much amount will be left. So when we will apply overall balance, we can use this information to find the amount of methane at outlet. So process specification means this one. But another example can be, for example, selectivity. Selectivity are sorry, I don't want to go in those terms because later on we have to discuss those in detail. So because otherwise you guys will get confused that what does exact process specification mean. Most of those are related to material balance systems. Okay. Or sometimes you are given some information, okay, process specification in, for example, he says that ratio between two reactants or ratio between maybe feed to the product is 0.7, 0.8. इस तरह की जो information given होगी, you can call it like process specification. Okay, any other question?
सर वो जो मैंने पूछा था क्वेश्चन.
Right, this is simply definition of degree of freedom. Okay, so degree of freedom is the difference between number of unknown and number of equation. So while you are solving the material balance problem, it is necessary to find degree of freedom, and I have told you guys the importance of degree of freedom, that when you solve it, you have to reach to this condition. and this condition is of exactly specified system, that your number of unknown and your equation should be same. Until unless they are not same, you can't proceed with the problem. I will not advise you, anyone will not advise you to solve that problem until unless you meet this condition of number of unknown and number of equation. So this the main calculation of this number, that which is the difference between number of unknown and number of equation, is called degree of freedom. And overall this process is called degree of freedom analysis, in which we find the number of unknown, we look at the number of equation, and number of equation are not simple number of equation, they are independent equation. So when we take the difference, this is calculation of degree of freedom. And this has three types, like one is exactly specified system, in which number of unknown and number of equation are equal, and this I have explained you with some example that are such questions you will get unique solution, you will get one solution. Then there was something called underspecified system. Underspecified mean which need more equations, because here your unknowns are more than the equation. So when your number of unknown are greater than the equation, so it means you need more equation to solve the problem. Did this he mentioned here, the remedy is to look for number of more equation. And then there was for example, and for this I have given you the example of that x plus y is equal to 3 and 3x plus 6y is equal to 6. So that's the example of this, that you have two unknown but equation is one, although they seem two equation but they are not independent. And then the third system is like when system is over specified, in that case also you will have some problem. So in that case either you have to increase your number of unknown or you have to decrease your equation to reach to this situation of number of unknown and equation 0. GHC, got it?
Yes sir, thank you so much.
Anything else anyone wanna ask?
सर ये जो आप वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करते हैं, आप भेजते हैं कि नहीं भेजते?
मैं कब रिकॉर्ड की है? आज मैंने रिकॉर्डिंग पे, मैं रिकॉर्ड नहीं करता लेक्चर, बट आज मैंने रिकॉर्डिंग पे लगाया था, बट आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू सेंड यू, इट विल बी अवेलेबल हियर इफ यू गाइस कैन एक्सेस, अदरवाइज मैन I don't know really, I have to click today on the recording.
कभी-कभी नेट का प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है.
See, it is recorded here, but I don't know how you can access it. I'm just